yes, we welcome the man that has absolutely dominated my speakers this weekend because the new End album, Splinters From An Ever-Changing Face, is out now. Will Putney, mate, we're going to talk to you about your We Can Do Better event in a little bit, but this new End album, there's a certain period of time, right? I think it's around the time that Trap then were releasing Darker Handcraft and All Pigs Must Die were raging. There was a bunch of albums that were so crushingly, punishingly, disgustingly heavy, but felt like a lot of fun. This record feels like, for the group of you, it was a blast to put together. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I think we started this band because that's the style of music we all had like an itch to play. And yeah, the whole purpose of the band was to get that out of our systems and have fun with it. So the entire project is just based around us doing what we want, playing the style of music we wanted to play. So it was super fun to make. It's one of my favorite records I've ever made.
It's so weird to be discussing fun when it comes to an album that is so punishing. But I have to admit, there's bits on it where the first time I heard it a couple of weeks ago, I actually started giggling at the level of ferocity on it. Did you know that you were putting together? Did it feel special this time out? Because the EP kind of got people buzzing anyway.
Well, it's definitely special to us. I know, with the EP, it started as this like little passion project thing that me and Brendan had. And we just whipped that together quick for fun. We wanted to see if we could do it, if it was even going to work, if anyone would even give a shit, and, people liked it, which was really cool. It went a lot wider than I think we thought it would. So we went into this LP like, all right, we got to take it more serious. Let's do it proper, spend the time on it, spend the resources to get cool art, cool videos, like the whole thing. And the whole way, working with the guys that are in my band, working with Closed Casket, with Eric Richter doing the videos, Adam Burke doing the art, everything was just like exactly what we wanted the whole time. No pressure to do anything else. It just was just so artistically satisfying for everyone that was involved in it. It's just one of those like home run situations for me where I didn't feel uncomfortable or weird about any single part of it. So I'm just really excited it's out in the world. I'm glad people like it and we have like a platform to make music like this, So yeah, I'm just thrilled it's out there.
Is it crazy to have made an album that is like in its essence, like kind of right for the underground and the extreme, and to see like a bit of mass praise? Like I saw Kerrang gave it 5 out of 5. I'm here kind of dribbling all over my keyboard about the record as it is. Did you expect like that kind of vibe from this? Like, is it quite bizarre to have made something so challenging yet it's so revered already?
I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, I feel like it's this sort of our introduction into this world with this sort of aesthetic, with some of these DB bands like you mentioned before, and the grind influences that we have. We've always enjoyed this music, but we never really played music in their world, And I didn't know if we were going to be looked at like, these are the dudes from the deathcore bands and the Poser kids and stuff like that. And I was like, it's not that I care, but I was like, I don't even know if anyone will give it a shot based on some of the reputations from the other genres of music we play in and things like that. So I went into it with no expectations because I was like, this is what I like to do. This is the music I like. It's my favorite style of hardcore. And, if people like it, cool. If they don't, I still got to do it, So I had no expectations. I love the record, so I knew I was going to be cool with whatever the press says or whoever. But
yeah,
I mean, it's just nice to see kids who appreciate the bands that we grew up listening to and love get into this band. Like they're starting to make the connection to like, oh, this is like right down the lane of the stuff I like, and you could see the lineage of what we grew up listening to and the bands we like. So I'm just glad that we have that platform, and that people gave the record a shot, to be honest with you.
So we're in a position where a lot of the people watching this might not have heard the record or seen the artwork and the videos and all that kind of thing, if you were to describe the general aesthetic of the band sonically and visually, how would you do so? Because like certainly to my eyes, even the artwork had a slight hereditary vibe to it.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like religious-y style metaphor in what Brendan says, and a lot of the late 90s stuff had this like kind of abstract-y oil painting style aesthetic to it also. So we wanted to like keep it in line with that, even down to like long album titles and like, you know, the logo being like a certain way. And we were like, let's do it like the shit we love. Let's like really see all the little details of that through handwriting lyrics for the insert of the record, like musically, like making sure we stay in a certain kind of lane and not doing stuff that we're comfortable doing in our other bands, and like making sure we nail stuff that's right for this genre. You know, it's just everything about it was like tailored to be like, this is what we love. Let's just do this, you know?
It's really endearing to hear that it's almost like a love letter amongst a lot of you to a certain period of time that you were really into. Who are some of the bands, just in case there's people out there that have discovered End and love this record, like who are some of the bands that you'd point people towards?
I mean, you nailed it with, you know, Trap Them. I think Trap Them's a collective favorite. We all like Baptists a lot. Some of the newer, like Cult Leader is a newer band that's kind of in this world that I feel like, you know, we have some parallels with their approach to songwriting and stuff too. And then a lot of the older like grind stuff, like me and Greg are huge Napalm Death dudes. Rotten Sound is like a gigantic influence on both of us. And then even some of the early death metal records, like we were drawn from old black metal stuff, Suffocation shit, like Decapitated riffs from like some of their like more grindy records, less of the like the modern groove stuff that they do now, but some of those early ones. And yeah, it's like, and then the aesthetics of like the hardcore bands, like, you know, the legendary like Cave In and Converge records we're obsessed with, you know, all the standards, all the classics. You know, there's like, we could deep dive about all of our oddball influences all day, but I feel like it's out there. It's pretty obvious what we listen.
The shift in tempos, like I love Black Breath, and the thing that really brings that fun factor to me is those shifting tempos. Like you never know quite where the next riff is going. I love that. Because there's a group of you and you're all kind of involved in different projects, and of course you've got your own production stuff going on as well. I know this feels like a weird question to ask at this point in human history, but are you going to tour this record?
We are. We had plans to. We've had the record for over a year, and we were sitting on it because we were trying to line up all of our schedules so we could actually tour. And we had that Misery Signals tour in April, and then we were continuing to book shows after that. They weren't even announced. Before we could even announce stuff, we had to kind of wipe the slate with everything. But yeah, we all talked and said, hey, let's make a conscious effort to actually give this a proper go. You know, I think we get hit up from people all over the place who have never seen us because we barely get off the East Coast. And I think we owe it to people that are like supporting the band now to at least try to get to their cities. So once the world turns back on, it's definitely something I think we'll pursue doing a little more of.
So in the immediate future, something that's happening is your We Can Do Better event. That's happening this Sunday. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what we can expect from it, because when you see the poster and the blurb, it feels like I really loved what Frank from Metal Injection was doing with Slay at Home, but this feels like a slightly different vibe.
It is. I think I really loved Frank's event. It was really fun. It was cool to see all the artists collab, and Frank's a great dude for doing that, raising a ton of money. This, I think I'm going to take a little more serious approach. I know I wanted to give a platform to more artists in our community to kind of speak out about what's going on in the world right now, specifically a lot of Black artists that, you know, it's definitely a minority group in the world that we're in. And with what's going on right now, I definitely want to use my platform to give them whatever voice I could to express what they need to, direct people on how they can help. I think a lot of people right now want to support the Black Lives Matter movement, and maybe don't know how to or what they should do. And I think we could all use a little bit of guidance from that community. So a lot of that will be tailored towards making sure their voices are heard on this. And then, there's some of my friends. I put this together pretty fast once I kind of got a grip of what was going on in the world. And I realized I should do something. I should use the little platform I have and the friends I have in other bands to raise some money for a good cause. So I put together a festival with a lot of my friends, and I know we're going to talk about music and stuff. Some guys are probably going to come in hotter and want to talk about the protests they've been at. I know they're going to want to talk about the police, So it's more of an open forum. I'm letting the artists dictate how they want this day to go, And I think the big takeaway is everybody is bringing something really cool to this charity raffle. So we're going to have like a tremendous amount of stuff. I think it's the biggest charity raffle I've ever seen in our world. Instruments and test presses and labels putting huge bundles together. The giveaway stuff is crazy. And that's just to drive people to kick $10 in. All of this is going to go to proper charities that are experts on how to deal with this situation. I don't know how to solve this problem. I'm not an idiot, but I don't speak for Black people. I don't speak for that community. I can't even fathom how I could start. But what I can do is raise money and give it to people who are experts. And that's where this whole idea really came from. That's what I'm trying to do with it. And I hope, the day can be successful and there's not too much fighting and there's not too much shitty internet comments and chat room bullshit. I want to keep it as positive as we can in such a negative time.
With you bringing like something that really stands out about the names that you're bringing to the table as part of this project is there's people like Ice-T and some really, really vocal members of the hardcore community as part of that. Was it important to pick people that full well are not going to pull any punches?
I think it was important. I'm definitely glad Ice-T is coming on because I think he's been one of the most outspoken people in our world since we were in diapers about police brutality and about this situation, and he's overqualified to speak on this from his journey through life, And actually, since this has been announced, I kind of got checked by some Black people, and I've gotten some messages like, "Hey, this thing is great what you're doing, but you're definitely not being as inclusive." And I've had a lot of really good conversations with people in the hardcore community for guidance. I'm like, okay, who else should come on this? Who has, a good voice? Who can really speak on the events, and not just me and all my band friends, So we're gearing up for a big announce in the next day or two. That's really, I think, going to represent those communities better. And that's kind of what I'm the most excited about. Me chatting about hardcore with my buddies is fun, and I'm sure people will get a laugh, and we'll have a good time. But there's, I think, more important voices that need to be heard right now. And on the next announcement, I think that should be reflective of that.
Yeah, you mentioned chat room bullshit and the rest of it. Have you been slightly taken aback by some of that in terms of since George Floyd's murder, when this has been posted about from the hardcore and metal communities? Have you been a little taken aback by some of the kind of shit that's going on in chat rooms and comment sections?
Honestly, I'm not surprised anymore. I knew I feel like the writing was on the wall for exactly how everyone was going to respond. And, the people who like to argue just to argue, and the people who don't listen and have their own opinion and are just going to smash your head with it. I mean, Fit For An Autopsy's done charity events for years. And every single time we try to do something, no matter what it's for, if it's for veterans, if it's for immigration rights, if it's for, when the North Dakota pipeline protests were happening, every single time we post anything socially, politically aware, it's just met with bullshit and stay in your lane, just do music. And it's just like, I completely expect every band that tries to do something it's going to be met with negative criticism at this point. So I wasn't taken aback. I just don't care anymore. I'm used to seeing it, and I know that the people who stand by their convictions in this world don't care either. They're just going to do exactly what they feel is right to do and keep moving forward. And a few years ago, I learned like none of this matters. Those guys have the loud voices because they're on a commenting on a post, and it just looks like they represent what a majority is in the world, but they're not. People want positive things to happen in the music community, and I've just learned to ignore those people.
Yeah, it's definitely the right way to go. So where can we watch We Can Do Better this Sunday?
Soundrink.live. It's going to stream it. There's links. I'm going to, in the next day or two, there's going to be a lot of big announcements. So I'll send it over your way too. It'll direct you to all the information about the artists, about the charities we're going to be working with. And yeah, soundrink.live. I'll be on there all day, talking to everybody, sweating, trying to have fun with it.
Well, we'll put all of the details in the description of this video. A couple of things before I let you go. Now, at Aftershock Festival last year, I bumped into one Jeremy McKinnon, who's a good mate of mine. And he told me, and I quote, that you have recorded the hardest A Day to Remember song that there have been. Did you have a lot of fun with that, and how accurate is Mr. McKinnon's description?
I can't comment too far because I don't think it's not out. What the project that we worked on together hasn't been released to the world yet, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But I really had a good time working with Jeremy. We worked together on another project, around the same time, and he's a super creative guy, really down to earth, very into collaborating with people, and sometimes taking a backseat or a side seat, listening to other artists who he's inspired by. And I just think he has a really awesome perspective on music and a great vision for what he wants to do. And we did come up with something very heavy together. So I'm excited for that to get out there.
All right, one more then. This is one purely for me, because one of the best bands on this planet are Every Time I Die. One of the best records of the last 5 years is Low Teens. Like, as someone that has loved that band since year dot, Low Teens raised the bar for an incredible band. Now, the vibe from the studio when you were making that record that he's done, it came off like there was an extreme confidence and everyone is fully stoked. The vibe that was coming from everyone's social media post, it didn't feel like people were hyping this record for people to raise awareness or whatever. It just felt like a room full of people writing riffs and being stoked. Is that a fair reflection on the Every Time I Die recording experience, Will?
Oh yeah, they're one of the best, man. And the record that we just finished is crazy. I can't wait for that to get out there. We did so many songs. We just we couldn't even cut songs off the record. It was just everything is great. It's gonna be a career highlight for everybody involved. I think if you follow that band and like that band, this record is going to be something really awesome for you. There's so much cool stuff.
Mate, goosebumps, even when you're talking about it. Will, thanks so much for your time. Good luck with We Could Do Better this weekend. Don't forget, in the descriptions below, we've got all of the details for you. Will, cheers for your time, man. And come back in the future when you've got some other projects on the go.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.